This video will be adding a main menu, sound effects and music. So let's get started. So to get started, we're going to start off by going to our web browser. Now that we're here, we're going to go to Open Game Art to find sprites for our game. So go to the first link. So we're going to look for a background, sound effects, music and buttons. And there we go. Now as you can see, there are 8 tabs open, and that's for all the sprite and sound effects we're going to be using this video. So let me go over them. Here we have a gun sound effects pack, so we'll have a sound effect for shotgun, or if our gun is out of ammo, or our pistol, or our rifle. Our next one is our zombie attack sound, and this is if our zombie is attacking us, and this is the sound that will be played. Here's the main menu buttons that we're going to have in the game. Here's a sound effect. We're just going to be using the pickup sound effect from this file, and here's going to be the music for our game, the chill main menu music. Here's going to be our main menu background, and here are going to be the zombie sound effects. So now let's go ahead and download them. And there we go. Now we have all our files downloaded. So now what we'll need to do is we see that we have 2 OGG files with our Darsco zombie moans and our zombie main music. So let's search for a wave to OGG converter online, and the link will be in the description for this website and the rest of the sprites. So just go right here to this Convertio website, and you're going to click here, choose the files, and we're going to choose the moans and the main music, since Scratch doesn't accept OGG files. So now let's convert OGG to wave files. Now let's go ahead and convert them. Now that they're converted, we just have to download the 2 of them. So just download them. And there we go. Now they're done downloading. So now we can exit our web browser and go back to Scratch. And we're now going to import the sprites and sound effects which we've just installed and downloaded. So now go to the background, and we're going to upload a background. So go to desktop, and then scroll to the bottom here where it's a zombie invasion background 1. That's what we'll be using as our background. So now just select it and make it fill the whole image. Now it fills the whole space. Now let's disable our game over, so let's hide it and see how this looks. Yes, that looks good. Now our upload is sprite, and we're going to upload our main menu buttons. But what we first have to do before we upload them is we have to unzip them. So let's go ahead and unzip them with your unzipper. So I'm going to just extract the files here. Now let's go back to Scratch and start importing the buttons. So upload a sprite, and we're going to scroll down right here where we see the buttons. So we're going to select the new game button, and we're going to select the exit button. So now we're going to import these 2 sprites, and the new game button will be here and the exit button will be here. And go to variables, and then just disable the end of game kills. Now let's go ahead and rename this to exit button. And then we're going to rename this to play button. Now let's go to our zombie, where we'll be adding our zombie moans and the zombie attack. So go to the sound tab, and we're going to upload some new sounds. So let's go ahead and upload the Darsco zombie moans. So we upload this one, and we're going to upload the zombie attack sound. Okay, there we go. Now let's play this one, and now let's go to the Darsco, and we can see that there are different sound effects all in one file. So you can see that they're different sound effects. So let's go ahead and select from here to here, and then copy it to new, and then delete it. And now do the same to the rest of the files. Copy to new and delete. 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 And then this last one, we copy to new and delete. So now we have our zombie sound effects. Now we want to put our zombie attack at the top of our sound effects. Now we want to go to our bullet where we're going to import the different gun sound effects. So go to the choose a sound and we're going to upload the new sounds. We're going to upload the minigun all to the shotgun wave file. So we're going to upload these 5 files. So now that we have these files uploaded, we're going to start by using all these sound effects. So let's go to our code. Now that we're at our code, we're going to go to sound. This is a tab we've never been to before, but basically what it does is it helps us use any of the sounds that we've previously imported in our sprite, and we're able to use them through this play sound. So let's start off by going to where we shoot our weapons. So here it is. Forever, if mouse down, if current weapon, then we create a clone. So here where we're creating the clone is where we want to play the sound. So as you know, weapon 1 is the pistol. So we're going to start off by playing the sound of the pistol. And then once we do that, we're going to play the sound of the minigun. We want to play the sound of the minigun. And then after all this, we're going to play the sound of the shotgun. And now we're going to need to create a brand new script. So to start off, we're going to go to the control and we're going to get an if statement. And we're going to go down here, still where the mouse is down, and we're going to put it right here. And we're going to say that if we go to operators and say that if our ammo is less than a certain number. So if it's less than 1, then of course there's no ammo in our gun. So we want to say if less than 1, or there's another exception. We also want to make sure there's enough ammo for a shotgun if the player is using a shotgun. So we're going to go to current weapon equals 3 if our current weapon equals 3 and our ammo. So let's go to ammo and then say is less than 3. Then we're going to say our ammo and our current weapon. If it's the shotgun that we're using and there's not enough ammo for the shotgun, then we can also play the sound of out of ammo. So now all of this is what we're going to be using to sense if our player is out of ammo. So now let's go to our sound. I'm going to start the sound out of ammo. And after that, we're going to wait 1 second. 1 second. Now let's test out our game. But before we do that, we're going to have to switch our backdrop to the grass, and we're going to hide these 2 sprites. Now that they're hidden, let's go ahead and test our sound effects to see if they're actually working. So now let's go. We have our knife here. We didn't apply any sound effect to our knife, but let's test if we use our okay, see, our pistol is working properly. Now let's use R and let's use our shotgun. Now we see our out of ammo is working, but let's go ahead and go to our bullets and go to the code, and we're just going to remove this. Wait 1 second. So let's go ahead and test it to see if our ammo is working. Okay, perfect. Our sound is working. Now we're going to start working on the sound effects for our zombies. So let's remove this wait 1 second block and then go to our zombie sprite. So now what we want to do is add our sound effects. So what I'm going to do is just clean up the blocks so it looks better, and then we're going to add the sound effects. So we can see here that we have in our sounds tab that we have the zombie attack, and then we have the separate 7 different sounds under that. So we're going to start with our zombie attack. So let's go to our code, and we're going to look for the script where we're attacking our player. So it's right here, if touching player. So we're going to go to our sound and we're going to start a sound right here where the zombie is doing the animation. So we're going to put it at the beginning of the script, if touching player. And the sound we're going to select is the first one, which is the zombie attack sound. So now let's test if that works. Okay, there we go. Now our zombie is making a sound every time they do their attack. So next, what we want to do is we want to make them moan, as zombies usually do in the movies. So we're going to go back to our sound tab and we're going to look when our zombie starts as a clone. So you can set it up anywhere, but I'm going to set it up here where it's going to a random position and once it starts as a clone. So I'm going to start sound, and here's where we're going to use a random sound from 2 to 8. So go to operators and pick a random sound from 2 to 8, and that's why we had our attack sound at the top, and our 2 to 8 are just the moans. So now we're going to have it pick a random moan. And then another thing we're going to have it do is we're going to go to control and we're going to say when I start as a clone, and then we're going to have it wait a random amount of seconds, still in control. So we'll go to operators and pick random from 1 to, we're going to pick from 6 to 12. It doesn't matter what values, just it shouldn't be too low. The first value shouldn't be too low. And we're going to do this forever. So we find that in control, we do this forever. And once we wait that this certain amount of time, we're going to do the moan again. So we're going to start playing the sound and we go to operators and we're going to select a random number from 2, random sound from 2 to 8. Now let's test our zombie moans. There we go. Now it adds a bit more live action. So a few changes we would like to make to what you just saw is, first, what we would want to do is we want to move our wait 0.1 second block. Right before our if statement, we're going to put it under this if statement right here, if cost your number is equal to 1, because as we saw, our zombies was doing the walk glitch, which they did in episode 5a, where they were glitching with their walks while attacking you. And after that, what we want to do is move our start sound block to where our player is actually being attacked. So what we're going to do is move this start sound and we're going to go down and right here where our player is losing life. So we're going to, after we wait 0.1 seconds, we're just going to then do the start attack sound. Now let's test this again. So let's see our zombies undo the walk. Perfect. Now the sound effects are better and our animation is working better. So now the last thing we want to do is add our music, and we're going to do our music in our backdrop. So we're going to go to sounds and we're going to choose a sound and we're going to upload it. So we're going to go down until we go to our zombie main music wave. So that's what we're going to use for our main music. So what we're going to start off with is deleting this fade in that's super long. We're just going to go ahead and delete that. And now let's start. Now that sounds a lot better. So we can just go ahead and delete this pop. And now we're going to go to our code. So we're going to say that when our flag is clicked, we just play this sound until done. So we're going to play the zombie main music until it's done. But what we're going to do again is we're just going to do this forever. So you want to make sure to choose this until done, because if you don't, let's see how it sounds. We see we're just hearing the beginning of the sound because it's always starting the sound but not until it's done. So now let's do it until it's done. So now we see that's working properly because we're saying to play it until it's done and then we would loop it once it's done. So now that we have our music done, let's work on our main menu. So for us to start with our main menu, what we're going to do is we're going to go to events and we're going to use the broadcast feature. So we're going to say when a new message called start game is broadcasted. So what we're first going to start with is when flag is clicked, we're going to switch to a different backdrop. We're going to switch to the zombie invasion background 1. And then we go to events, and we're going to say when I receive start game, we're going to switch to the backdrop for our grass where our players plays the game. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do some changes in a few sprites. So let's start with our player. So we want to hide our player at the beginning of the game and only show him once the game actually starts, which we're going to start it by clicking on our play button. So let's go to events, and we're going to say that when I receive start game, then that's when I can do all of this. And we're going to then also set this one to when I receive start game instead of using the flag. And last but not least, we're going to also do this one when I receive start game. So now we're going to say when I receive start game, we show our player, and then we're going to hide him once the flag is clicked. So next, what we want to do is go to our crosshair and simply hide it once the game starts, and we're going to show it once the message start game is broadcasted. So now we're going to go to our zombie, and we're going to zoom out a little bit. We're just going to go to our zombie script, which spawns all our zombies. So right here where we're creating the clones, all we want to do is drag this out and say when I receive start game, but of course hide it when flag is clicked, but that's all we need to do instead for our zombie. And now what we want to do is go to bullet, and here's where we do all the shooting of our different guns. So instead of using the flag, we want to use when I receive start game. And then another thing we want to do is go to our health bar, and we're going to hide it at the beginning of the game. So we're going to go to when I receive start game, and then we're going to go to looks. We're going to show it once the game is started, but we want to hide it when the flag is clicked. And remove this show right here at the bottom. Next, where we're going to go is to our ammo pickup, and instead of using the when flag clicked, we're going to go to when I receive start game. Next, we're going to go to our health pickup and do the same. Instead of when flag clicked, we're going to say when I receive start game. To our skull, we're going to hide it when the flag is clicked, so we go to looks and hide it, but then we're going to show it in events when our game has started. So let's go ahead and do the same for our ammo display. We just drag in this script, and then instead of showing it, we don't show, but instead we hide it. So now the last thing is we're going to go to our play buttons, and we're going to do the opposite. We're going to go to looks and show it when the flag is clicked, but hide it when they receive start game. And we're just going to drag these two to our exit button. Now let's start the game. So our first notice is that the variables are still showing. So we're going to go to our backdrop, and we're going to go to variables. And we're going to show the variable ammo when the game is started, and we're also going to show it, and we're also going to show another variable, the kills variable, but then we want to hide them once the flag is clicked. So we just go ahead and hide the two variables. So now that they're hidden, we want to go to our backdrop and edit it. So we're going to add text and then give our game a name. So let's type the name of our game. I'm going to call this game KonitaTutorials. If you have a long name, make sure to skip lines in between. So KonitaTutorials epic zombie shooter. So now we're just going to go to the K, and we're going to give a few spaces so it's centered a little bit. And now we're going to change the color of our font. So we're just going to use red and then a darker theme red to stay with our zombie theme. And then we're going to change the font. So I'm going to go ahead and use a serif font and then just make it bigger. So now we can just put it more in the middle. And there we go, KonitaTutorials epic top-down shooter. I feel like red, of course, is a great color, but it doesn't fit too well as it doesn't stand out. So let's just make it brighter and see how that looks. Yep, there we go. That looks better since it stands out a bit more. So now that we have the title of our game, we're going to go back to our code, and we see this is looking right. So let's go ahead and test how our game is looking so far with our working main menu. So I did make a little bit of a word mistake. I did make a little bit of a wording mistake. It's not a working main menu yet. So what we have to do is actually make our play button and our exit button work. I'm going to go ahead and move the new game button a little bit lower, and then we're going to go to control and then say forever if, and we're going to look for two things. So we're going to get an AND operator, and we're going to say if mouse is down and also is touching the mouse pointer. So this is just if it's being clicked. Then what is going to happen is we're going to simply broadcast the start game, and that's what we're going to do. But we're going to do something a bit different for our exit button. For our exit button, all we need to do is, instead of broadcasting start game, we're just going to stop it all. So exit, that's what the exit button is going to do. So now if we exit, it stops everything, but if we click new game, we have a working main menu and sound effects looking nice and fresh. We've come to the end of this video. Make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss the next episode, where we'll be adding a gun unlocking feature, fixing some bugs, and polishing up our game. So see you then.